Welcome to TouchPoints TV. I'm Debbie House, Editor-in-Chief of Retail TouchPoints, and I'm here with Chris Isbrecht, who's the Director of Product Management for MaaS360 by FiberLink. Did I get that right?
You did.
Good. All right, so I have some questions for you today. We're going to talk about some different topics, and the first one has to do with mobile device management. And could you just sort of give us a quick rundown of the importance of mobile device management for today's retailers?
Sure. So really a couple of different use cases that we try to cover from a retail standpoint, a little bit different than the typical enterprise that we work with. So you've got your traditional mobile workers, your executives, your normal employees that are trying to get access to email and to corporate services, but then you also have that in-store service that we're trying to capture and really enhance those services. So the ability there to provide consumer-based services with typically corporate-owned assets in the store, whether it be an iPad, doing point-of-sale type services, or catalogs, or more consumer-type things with a corporate device in an actual retail location.
Okay, great. The next topic I want to talk about is BYOD, which is bring your own device into a store. And I think that there are a lot of retailers who are debating, should we implement this or not? What would you say are the advantages and disadvantages?
Sure. So there's a lot of advantages. Typically, like I said before, in the retail sector, we see corporate-owned devices primarily for those in store type applications. Lots of benefits to the your typical employees of making them more productive, allowing them to carry one device as opposed to a personal device and a corporate-owned device.
Okay.
So really a lot of benefits to the solution there, really from a productivity standpoint, and really streamlining that process of carrying a single device and keeping that worker productive.
What are some of the challenges that retailers need to be aware of with BYOD?
Sure. So lots of challenges from that standpoint. How we're going to procure those devices, whether we're going to do stipends for them, whether we're infringing on personally identifiable information from an end user standpoint. And then we do also have a lot of things that we need to consider from a regulatory standpoint. So are there PCI type information or data being stored on those devices? So really the ability to do the full life cycle management, bring the device into the environment, automatically provision it, set your security policies, and then be able to track and destroy information as you need to do that. So if a personal device is lost or stolen, how am I going to recover that data? How do I wipe that data from a device if it's lost or stolen? And then on a personal device, if somebody moves on from that job function, how do I recover just the corporate data without necessarily destroying the personal data that might be on that device? So
okay.
Lots of challenges in that full life cycle management of the device itself.
Right. So there are a lot of advantages, but you really need to think it through before you implement.
Absolutely. There's policies and procedures that need to be in place, working through HR and finance and putting those actual plans together. And then you can use mobile device management solutions to actually enforce those types of policies,
right.
Whether they're your acceptable use policies and whether from a financial standpoint you're going to support paying for those devices, the data plans, and how you're going to support these programs.
Okay, great. So next question is about mobile apps, and what are the issues around facilitating the use of mobile apps and management of those apps? Are there specific challenges there that retailers need to be aware of?
Sure. So there's an overall provisioning and ease of use standpoint. So whether it's a personally owned device or whether it's an actual kiosk or some type of a tablet in the store, we need to be able to automate that process, automatically configure, and then it's very important to lock down those devices. So we don't want consumers going in and opening a web browser and going out and browsing the sites, when they should be browsing a catalog in a retail location. So there's that initial provisioning in an automated fashion to over-the-air configure those devices, and then you really need to make sure they're locked down so that people are using them for what they're intended for, and not using them either for malicious intent, or for browsing the websites they shouldn't be, in a public location.
And then regarding the mobile applications specifically, are there considerations retailers should think about when they're
Sure.
looking
So
at those?
we actually layer on a bunch of different services on top of the apps themselves. So we can add authentication, we can add DLP type policies and services to make sure that you're not leaking information from those types of applications. So from our standpoint, we really have a complete lifecycle management just for the application itself to provision it and secure it. We also do quite a bit in the way of geolocation services,
Okay.
so the ability to track that device and apps and any data that might reside on it, and then the ability to take automated actions if that device leaves a retail location or is outside of a given parameter that it shouldn't be.
Are there any specific use cases that you want to share?
Sure. So we work with hundreds of customers in the retail space. We see a lot of customers that are doing in retail store services like catalogs and browsing services, point of sale and inventory. We've got customers that range from Chanel and Quicksilver, Sears, that leverage these types of services. And it could be a whole range of things. There's really limitless use cases there. We've seen it in restaurant chains where they use the iPads for order taking. We work with casinos where they actually automate the process of delivering beverages to customers in an automated fashion to really reduce the time it takes to provide those services. So really limitless capabilities and use cases within these retail locations.
All right, terrific. So can you speak now just a little bit more specifically about how your solution, the MaaS360 solution, fits into the whole landscape of
Sure.
all this?
So we're a cloud-based mobile device management system. We're a secure multi-tenant environment, which allows us to move very quickly to onboard new customers. We've got 85% of customers that we onboard do it in less than 8 hours, and that's for a complex integration to the corporate network for corporate grouping and authentication and services. So the fact that we are a cloud-based solution allows us to move very quickly and gives you a lot of benefits, not just in the initial turn-up as a customer, but the ability to stay ahead of the innovation curve and make sure we're introducing new services very quickly. We do product releases on a 3-week rolling basis to make sure that our customers have 0-day support of new devices, operating systems, device manufacturer APIs that come out. So a very dynamic system there that gives you the full lifecycle management of the device, applications and any content that we push out, but it's continually being updated with really no effort from the customer, no change control, no change management. So very unique capability that we have in the industry to move very quickly to provide those services.
Great. Okay. So one last question. I think you did address this a little bit, but just some of the specific benefits for retailers when they implement this kind of solution.
Sure. So again, it's really the speed to benefit.
Yeah.
So the ability to turn up a customer very quickly in the environment. Like I said, we're able to onboard you in a very short period of time to introduce those types of services. We also have a lot of services specifically tailored for the retail industry. Our geofencing capabilities, the ability to automatically take actions against devices if they're in a non-compliant state. So for those devices that are in the retail location, we can set security posture and compliance rules for those devices. So if a device becomes jailbroken or rooted, we can remove corporate data from it and take those automated actions. Same thing with the geofencing capability, the ability to track that device, know where it is at all times, and then the ability to remove corporate data from it if it's not in that specific location where it belongs. So lots of benefits from the solution from that standpoint to really track and manage data. We also have the full lifecycle management capability for your applications and your data, so the ability to seamlessly provision, set up, lock down those devices from a management standpoint.
Terrific. All right. Well, thanks so much for all the information.
Okay.
And thanks for joining us on TouchPoints TV.
Thanks.
And thanks to all of you also for joining us today. Have a great day.